Absolute turmoil at Ibrox as Steven Gerrard's sensational return moves a step closer after a bombshell club announcement. And the storm surrounding Russell Martin just keeps getting worse. A brutal new report reveals 10 damning reasons why he must be sacked immediately. And while Martin clings on, he's now putting Connor Barron's World Cup dream in jeopardy. One of the club's brightest hopes left to rot. To top it all off, the shortlist to replace Martin is out, and the names will shock you, ranking the 5 favourites to replace him. Here we go then. Strap in, because this is the kind of drama only Rangers can deliver, and this one's got it all. Mutiny in the stands, a crumbling manager under pressure, and the ghost of 55 possibly strolling back into Ibrox with that Gerrard swagger. Russell Martin, bless him, is clinging to the Rangers job like a dug hanging off a butcher's apron. Despite scraping 2 wins in the last 3 matches, you're still staring up the table from 8th, 9 points off Hearts, let alone those lot across the city. After that late win over Livingston, instead of celebration, the walls of Ibrox echoed with one chant: sack him. That's where we are. Wins don't even scratch the surface anymore. Behind the scenes, the board's already sniffing around for alternatives. A few names are floating about, but the one that's got tongues wagging and pulses racing is Steven Gerrard. Yes, that Gerrard. The man who delivered 55, stopped Celtic's 10 in a row, party like a bouncer shutting the doors to a club that never should have opened. Ali McCoist, no less, has tipped him as the right man to rally the troops again. Gerrard, by all accounts, would be open to returning, but only if there's serious financial backing. And who can blame him? He's not daft. He knows that no amount of passion alone can make Tavernier cross a decent ball again, or turn our midfield into anything remotely resembling a spine. Then there's the Thelwell twist. No, not Kevin, who's already got plenty of heat from you for the summer window shambles. It's his son, Robbie Thelwell, now installed as head of recruitment. And guess what? He worked at Aston Villa during Gerrard's time there. Coincidence? I'm the Queen of Sheba. The dominoes are lined up. A manager drowning under expectation, a discontented support who have had enough of side-to-side possession with no punch, and a returning hero waiting in the wings if the board pull the trigger. And here's the kicker. Gerrard's win rate at Rangers, nearly 65%. Martin's, a shambolic 33. One gave you belief, energy, and silverware. The other's giving you ulcers and sleepless nights. If Gerrard's ready and willing to come back, would you take him back at Ibrox, or is the way he left still unforgivable in your eyes? You know, it's one thing to be struggling with results. It happens to the best, but it's another thing entirely when the stats start screaming at you from every direction, telling the same brutal truth. Russell Martin's Rangers are broken, directionless, and in deep, deep trouble. Let's not sugarcoat it. This is one of the worst starts to a league campaign in modern Rangers history. 1 win in 6 games, no victories at Ibrox, and sitting 8th in the league after the most expensive summer spent in Scotland. That's not just poor, it's catastrophic. You've spent millions bringing in Bojan Miovski and Youssef Chermiti, yet you're 10th for goals scored, below teams who trained on public parks with bags of bibs and half a dozen cones. And who's scoring the goals? Tavernier, you're right back. Curtis is the only forward to find the net. Dezza's left, and you've not replaced his numbers. That's not a striker problem. That's a tactical disaster. Defensively, still a mess, conceding goals for fun, despite having one of the best shot stoppers in the league in Jack Butland bailing you out every other match. You're leaking chances, leaking possession, and leaking belief. Possession, Martin will tell you it's about control, but you're controlling games like a man holding a balloon in a hurricane. All that passing between Sautar and Cornelius at the back is just theatre. It's going nowhere. You're second in the league for possession, but bottom for long balls, and crucially, bottom for clean sheets. You're giving it away in your own third more often than a Sunday pub team. This obsession with sterile possession is costing you everything, and you can see the toll. The fans aren't just fed up, they're furious. The booing's relentless, the chants to sack Martin are growing louder with every limp performance, and the belief that this manager can turn things around has evaporated quicker than a Scottish summer. Every stat, every game, every moment is screaming the same thing. Martin Ball isn't working. He's got the players fearing the ball and you fearing what's coming next. With all the money spent and the squad clearly capable of so much more, is Russell Martin the worst Rangers managerial appointment since Pedro Caixinha? The vultures are circling, the bookies are sharpening their odds, and Russell Martin's office door at Ibrox is beginning to look more like a revolving one. With every dropped point and every flat performance, the list of names to replace him grows louder, and now the 5 frontrunners have emerged. Let's start at number 5. Michael Carrick, a stylish midfielder in his playing days, and now trying to bottle that same calm and control on the touchline. He had a decent spell at Middlesbrough, nothing sensational, but far from a disaster. Some say he plays attractive football, others say he's too soft touch for the battle-hardened world of Govan. Out of work, available, and maybe just desperate enough to take on this madness. A gamble, but he might just fancy the chaos. At 4, Gary O'Neill, sacked harshly at Bournemouth, saved Wolves from the drop. The man's clearly got something about him. But is he built for the Ibrox pressure cooker? Can you really see him fronting up to a fan base that won't accept second place, let alone 8th? Good manager, no question. But this isn't mid-table survival in England. This is war. In 3rd place, Danny Roll, a tactical wizard by reputation, did well at Sheffield Wednesday until the club imploded around him. But here's the rub. He spent the summer touting himself like a desperate lad on transfer deadline day. There's talent there, no doubt, but Rangers need steel and swagger, not another project who needs time you don't have. Then you've got him, number 2, Steven Gerrard, the man who brought you 55, kept Celtic's grubby hands off 10 in a row and made Rangers relevant in Europe again. A 64% win rate, unbeaten league campaign, and old firm dominance you still sing about. And topping the list somehow is Sean Dyche, a man with Premier League grit, a voice like gravel in a blender, and a footballing philosophy that's more dogfight than tiki-taka. He's no nonsense, no frills, and no stranger to surviving with scraps. But can you really see Dyche swaggering into Ibrox and understanding what this club means? European nights, old firm bloodbaths, the sheer expectation. It's a different world from Turf Moor. This is what it's come to. The choice between a returning hero, a couple of English survivors, a German tactician, and a quiet controller, each with pros, each with big, glaring risks. When Russell Martin and Kevin Thelwell walked through the doors at Ibrox, they made a song and dance about youth development. A new era, they said, built on potential. But what good is potential if you leave it mouldering on the bench while the season falls apart around you? Take Connor Barron, a lad with talent to burn, stats that speak for themselves, and the kind of engine in midfield you'd pay good money to see week in, week out. Last season, he was everywhere. 49 appearances under Barry Ferguson and Philippe Clement, trusted, relied upon, a real part of the fabric. Now, he's started just 3 premiership matches under Martin. 3, and don't talk about trust. The only thing Martin trusts more than dropping Barron is playing sideways football until your eyes glaze over. The tragedy? Barron's not just playing for Ibrox, he's playing for his World Cup dream. The 2026 tournament is now less than a year away, and with Scotland finally on the cusp of qualifying again after more than 2 decades in the wilderness, every minute counts. Every match he sits out under Martin is one step closer to missing that plane. You saw how much it meant to him when he spoke ahead of the clash against Sturm Graz. playing in a World Cup is something you dream of as a kid, he said. That's not just ambition, that's fire in the belly, but dreams need minutes. And under Martin, he's scraping for scraps. And the worst part? When Martin hooked Barron against Hearts, you booed loudly because you know what he brings. High pass accuracy, bite in the tackle, endless recoveries. The numbers don't lie, but Martin's selections do. He rejected a move to Bologna in the summer because the club insisted he was part of the long-term plan. But what's the point in keeping him if you're not going to use him? Now, with Diamanda suspended, Barron's got a rare shot against Sturm Graz. But is this how we're treating talent now, only getting a game when someone's banned or injured? Here's the uncomfortable truth. If Martin continues to sideline Connor Barron and that World Cup dream gets crushed under the weight of poor management, how long before the next generation of young talent thinks twice about joining Rangers? Should Rangers be protecting the club's future by building around talents like Barron? Or is Martin's failure to develop him just another reason he should be shown the door? If you enjoyed this, drop a like and leave your thoughts in the comments below.